So, ladies and gentlemen, my sincere apologies that I am very, very late. I have literally, well, I say literally, basically just walked in from work. Right, so qualifying has started. Basically, Pyro was waiting for me to get on, so then we could get cracking. Right, okay, Pyro has come out on the wrong tyres. He should be out on the softs. So, whilst these guys are going around doing their outlaps, we're just I'm going to quickly run through the semi-final sheet. So here we are at St. Croix, the C layout, in my mind one of my favourite layouts for this circuit. We're going to be doing 12 laps here at this track. There are no tyre rules and there are no setup rules either. It's all the slick tyres here at the track, so the racing hards, the racing mediums and the racing softs. We have got we've got all threes orange 6T cars out with us. 6T being one of the teams that managed to get out of the last chance race yesterday, for those who missed it. Spoilers, they're here. Another team I've not seen for a little while was Coca-Cola. So and then we got Team Cat here as well. We got OBB in this group as well, along with the final group, which, okay, never mind. It's OB versus Coca-Cola versus Cat versus 6T. So as we're going around this lap, let me just remind you of the standings at the moment with the championship. I say championship, that's standings on points and things like that. Where are we? So everyone has been zeroed out. Yep, right. So everyone's been zeroed out. So we're all basically starting from afresh in the semi-finals. There is a second group. There is Group B on, which is another, I believe it's another stream, if it's on this evening. Yeah, right, so it's a long outlap. It's a very long outlap. No one's going to get 2 laps, as we're at 2 minutes 45 now, as BX is just coming up to the hairpin now. Anton bringing up the rear with Pyro, who's now on the correct tyres. Right, we're going to follow these guys through the final lap. Well, I said the final lap, the final couple of corners. I love this interior, actually. I like the dashes and dials. Looks very, very authentic and old school in my opinion. BX having to do a tiny little lift right there at the end just to try and get the car to rotate enough, but he keeps the car as straight as possible. Tries to utilise every scrub and inch of speed. A little bit of a break as we go through turn 1. Hit the 100-metre mark, all the way over to the left hand side. Goes a little bit. He actually gets that corner very, very well. Gets the corner nicely squared off. Down the second long straight. Into one of the hardest braking zones on this circuit. There's 2 of them. I believe that also might be one of the slowest points on the track as well. Feeding that throttle in. to arguably one of the trickiest braking zones. Long right into a dab of brakes into another right as well, so you kind of got to get your lines right through here. If you're being hung out on the outside, it's not going to be too good for you. So qualifying has officially ended to 5 minutes are up, so this is basically going to be a one-shot qualifying for everybody here. It's going to be, do not make any mistake as we come down through the right, through the left into a very, very tricky corner braking point. You don't want to get this too much wrong. You also don't want to run out too wide, and we've got to be careful of the bumps on the exit of that corner as you're getting the power down. As hello to those couple of people who are finally in the stream. We're just going to go and follow BX around the circuit. You've got to be very, very patient with that left-hander. Very, very patient as we come down. You don't need to do too much of a brake here. A little bit of a dab on the brake. As soon as you see the orange barrier on the left, pin the throttle. Let it run as we come down this very, very long back straight into the hardest braking point of the circuit. So we're looking okay for tyre wear. Bear in mind there is no tyre restrictions here this time around, so people can do a one-stop soft if they can get the tyres and the fuel to manage it. It is 5 times tyres though, so actually no, maybe not, because we have got 12 laps, so might be looking at a more of a medium soft run. As BX has a bit of a snap of oversteer, completely misses his apex. He's going to try and make it work though. He's going to let the car run. Has to be very patient with that throttle. It looks like the cars are quite understeering. Keeps it over to the left. Has to be very patient with the throttle. Looks like this car, you have to be extremely patient with the throttle. All the way over to the right for the penultimate corner. Does he get a better exit? He does get a better exit than he did the previous lap. Lets it run a little bit. So there's a lap here at St. Croix. So let's see, it's 3:29 to beat. What can Mortal do? Not quite close enough. What can Astro do? Astro goes up into third. I'm just going to let everyone come across the line. Tap comes over the line. Not quite able to catch up to the back of Isaac. Oh, never mind, he drops down to 10th. So there we have it. So we got BX in first. Capello. Yeah, that's because it's done quick. There we go. So we've got 16 P1 with BX. We then got ITM Capello. GT in second for Cap. We got Zico in third for Coca-Cola. And then we got Iggy in fourth for OBB. Mortals in fifth. Astros in sixth. Anton's in seventh. Pyro is in eighth. Capello is ninth. Isaac is 10th. And Tap is 11th. So it looks like quite a good spread. Right, Pyro's going to get us kicked off in just a moment. There we go. And here we go. So, 12 laps around this incredibly long circuit. I didn't think it was actually this layout. I thought it would be a slightly shorter layout, but it's okay. Who's pinning the throttle in the background? Capello is pinning the throttle. So is Isaac. Everyone's now starting to pin the throttle. We got 3, 4, 5 red lights. I'll check through the tyres in a moment. And lights out and away we go. BX gets a great start. ITM for Team Cat doesn't quite get as good a start as he is hoping for. Iggy's now up into P3. Zico's down into P4. Iggy's now going to challenge P2. It goes up into P2 as he goes up the inside, but now we've got the right-hander, so this is going to favour the Cat driver. No, Iggy hangs it around the outside and gets a much better exit through. So through goes Iggy. Zico is now down to P4. It's under a lot of pressure from Mortal, who's in P5. We then got Astra in P6, who's going to help his teammate and give him a little bit of a push. As they're still side by side as we come into their first of 2 hairpins. Oh, there's a little bit of argy-bargy contact behind. Who's that? Off goes Tap and Isaac as well. So both Tap and Isaac are off at the first hairpin. We're going to go a bit further forward. Capel is in 9th, Pyro's still in 8th, Astro's in 7th, Anton's in 6th, Mortal's now down into 5th position. Let's have a quick look, because everyone's sort of opened up the gap a little bit. Let's have a quick look at everyone's tyres. I believe everybody will be on the mediums. Who's that that's gone off? Mortal's just had a little bit of a traverse and travel into the gravel. It's not going to cost him too much time though. Everyone apart from Isaac is on the mediums. So Isaac is the only driver on the softs. He could be doing a slightly different strategy. Isaac might be able to get the softs to last 6 laps, but we will have to wait and see. Oh, as there's a little bit of a bump from the barrier from ITM Capello, GT, I believe it's Kep, I'm just going to say it because I have had some bad pronunciations in the past 24 hours as Kep gets very, very deep into the corner after the bridge, and through goes Zico. So Zico's going to take P3. Kep's going to fall down to P4. Now we're on to the back straight. Isaac not quite in the slipstream at the moment. Pyro's been passed by Capello. So Pyro's now down into 9th position. Isaac's in the slipstream now. We're going to go a bit further forward. Is there anyone challenging? No, Iggy's closing up to the back of Pyro. BX, excuse me. What's going on back here? Anyone? No, no one's close enough to make a move. This might be where Isaac will shine a little bit. Having a softer compounder tyre might help him through these couple of corners. But being stuck in the dirty air is definitely going to not help the understeerers. Just look at that tyre where it's starting to show its rear its head now. Pyro's a little bit sideways. Still very much is sideways. And this is going to cost him time. Isaac might have been able to have a little go there. He's not been able to. Pulls out and pulls back. It's a much tighter line. Let's go a bit further forward. So it's BX that takes the lead and keeps the lead over lap 1. Iggy in P2 in very much in hot pursuit of BX. It's probably going to be a very straight fight, I reckon, between Obi and 6T as Kep has just slammed it into the wall. Mortal back up into 5th. Ooh, what's going on in the background? Isaac still not able to get past Pyro. I want to potentially stay around here. Astro has a little look to the inside very late in the last minute. Not going to be able to make anything happen this time. Pyro still does enough to hold for P9 at the moment. I'm going to try and flick between these two groups whilst checking the front. As Iggy is recently, very, very recently, within the past couple of corners, gotten past BX, so there has been a change of the lead. Iggy now takes the lead. BX is not going to let that go unanswered, though. I really need a keyboard or something. It would have been great to go back and have a look at like an instant replay for this. We're going to go back a couple of cars. Pyro is able to open up a little bit more of a gap to Isaac. Isaac having a bit of a moment as we come out of the first twisty section. Let's go a bit further forward again. Let's stay with these two. Iggy has a little bit of a sideways moment coming out. It's not really cost him anything. If anything, he's kind of gained a little bit from it. Pyro struggling to get this car to initially turn, but then he does eventually get the car to turn. Again, it does look incredibly understeery. Now, is BX going to push Iggy, or is he going to go for a pass? He's going to push Iggy. They're going to try and open up the gap to Zico, who's in P3 at the moment. We then got Kep in P4, and it's going to be a 6T driver in P5 of Mortal, so it's going to be an advantage to 6T at the moment. A little bit further back, Isaac recently, very recently getting past Pyro. Pyro now down into 10th position. Taps bringing up the rear at the moment. Capel in 8th. On a little bit of a twitchy moment. Astro taking a very different line to Anton. Going through the second twisty section before the penultimate corner. Let's watch these two though. The gap's not really opened up that much to Zico. BX might just sit here and try and preserve a little bit of the fuel. I don't think the fuel is going to be much of a problem, to be brutally honest. He might just sit here and push Iggy on a bit and try and burn Iggy's tyres out, because Iggy's tyres are looking a little bit worse for wear than BX. We're going to jump on board back here with Astro. Let's see what Astro is going to do. Is he going to have a little look? No, he's a bit too far back this time. Going a bit further back. Pyro's managed to get back up ahead of Isaac. Isaac's soft tyres. You can probably do 6 laps on those, to be fair. It's not really doing him any good. He's kind of struggling to get out of ahead. Anton goes a little bit wide. He goes off into the gravel. Astro nearly collects Anton as Capel has a massive snap of oversteer. He's going to try and capitalise on Anton going off into the gravel. Capel just about gets ahead, but Anton's still there. Breaks a little bit later. Now side by side as we're coming through the first of the 2 left-handers. Capel still on the outside. Anton's still up on the inside. Can they both get around? They can both get around. Anton gets a slightly better exit, pulls right to the left to give Capel space. Does get ahead of Capel, so Capel now drops down to 8th position. Who gets a better exit as we come over the bridge? Over the bumps. No one seems to be spinning out at the moment over the bumps. Pyro gets over the bumps, thank God. Let's go a bit further forward. Oh, BX has a moment as we come off the bridge. He's losing a little bit of time to Iggy, but he's going to make it back up in the straight. He's a lot tighter than Iggy to begin with, which means it's going to cost him a little bit on the exit. Iggy swerves to break the slipstream, which obviously is not going to happen because he's within half a second. Let's go back a little bit more. Isaac 1.2 behind Pyro, so Isaac's not having a great lap at the moment. Pyro's having a much better lap. Capel a little bit too far back to really sort of mount an attack and launch an attack, going a bit further forward. Astro half a second behind Mortal. It looks like a lot of these guys are struggling a little bit with the understeer. They're having to feather the throttle mid-corners when they want to be getting on the power. BX is a lot closer, as close as he's ever been. Gets a really good drive coming out of the final corner. Again, I think BX is just going to sit behind for now. He's not close enough this time to really mount an attack. Going through 1, he might consider an attack going into 2. No, he's not going to consider it. He's going to slot him behind. They both kiss the wall on the exit. Iggy with the fastest lap at the moment as a 3:30.3. Let's go a little bit further back as Astro has got a much better exit than Mortal. Mortal's on the left, Astro's on the right. Astro's now going to have the inside line for the hairpin. What's Mortal going to be able to do? Mortal backs out of it just a little bit earlier. Astro goes in. Mortal has a little bit of a slide on the rear. Does get a much better X. He's going to try the switchback. He's now got the outside. He's going to try a second switchback. Astro goes early, holds the line, holds it very well. It's going to force Mortal out a bit further wide. Mortal's having to lift and brake a little bit earlier, so through goes Astro for P5, but it's not done yet. Mortal trying to counter attack. Gets a very good exit. Now he's going to look up the inside. Astro doesn't defend the inside. Mortal brakes a little bit early, opens the corner just a little bit, trying to maximise the exit speed. I think he's going to have to slot into 6th and set for 6th for now. He might have to wait for the long back straight unless he's going to try over the bridge. We'll come back to them two in just a moment. As I'm looking up at the weather, it's not due to rain here, because only the racing tyres are allowed, but I wouldn't say we're probably out the woods. It might just be getting a little bit cloudy. Iggy opening up that gap now to 0.7 of a second, so BX has now lost the toe from Iggy. Astro opens up the gap to about half a second. Mortal's going to have to close that down over the straight. He's going to have to close it down over the next couple of corners as well. A little bit loose on the exit, but gets a good exit. He's closing up that gap, scrapes the barrier a little bit. That's not going to be too helpful, so he's going to lose it a lot of time. Just about manages to retain the slipstream, right, and literally just. Let's go a bit further back. What's going on a bit further back? Tap recently dispatching Isaac, who's not having a good race at all. He's in the 34s at the moment. I think Isaac might have recently crashed as well, because he's lost a lot of time. We're going to go a bit further forward. Iggy's now opened up a 1.5 second gap to BX, who's now losing time. Excuse me, to Zico. So is BX maybe backing off just a little bit to preserve the tyres, trying to extend the life of those tyres and try and maybe go all 12 laps? It doesn't say you have to stop either. So some of these guys are maybe going to try and do a no stop. As we're coming up onto lap 5, I think BX is trying to prolong the life of his tyres. Kept still holding on to 4th. Astro's in 5th at the moment, and Mortal in 6th. Anton's in 7th. Tyre life are looking good. Capel's in 8th. Pyro's in 9th. Tyres are looking good. Tap's in 10th. Tyres are looking very good. Isaac's not looking very good at all, and he's backed out. So, Team 6 have now lost a driver. There is now only 10 people in this lobby, not 11 anymore. Let's find a close couple. It'll probably be these two. Mortal back ahead of Astro. Let's see. Oh my god, Mortal brakes very, very early. Astro was not expecting that. Tries to take avoiding action, nearly goes into the back. I think he did go into the back of Mortal. So Astro this time a little bit more wise to the fact that Mortal might be a little bit earlier on the brakes. Does close the gap right up. He's now to about a tenth, no, 0.2 of a second, sorry. Was a tenth of a second. Astro feathering the throttle to get the car to rotate a little bit better. Gets a lot closer under the braking as we come plummeting down the hill towards the bridge. Very fast sequence of corners. Mortal gets it a little bit wrong, takes a little bit too much inside curve. No, he doesn't have damage. Both drivers keeping it stable. Capel on the other hand is not. Has a little bit of a moment, so that's going to lose all the time he's just regained. This is going to allow Pyro to close in a little bit more. Oh, Mortal's gone very wide. He's outbraked himself and understeered, so through goes Astro, down goes Mortal. Mortal's now down into 6th position. He's not even going to get the toe either. Although he gets a much better exit than Astro. Much better. So Mortal might get the toe towards the middle / end part of this straight. Let's go a little bit further forward. Zico catches up to the back of BX. BX still losing out about a tenth or two a lap to Iggy. Iggy at the moment in very much in control of this race. Oh, Mortal's having another moment. So I heard tyre squeals, he's having another moment, so the gap to Astro's opening back up again. This might bring in Anton and Capel. Yeah, I don't think these guys need to pit at all. Just looking at the fuel gauges, Astro goes very wide. Through goes Mortal. Mortal goes back up into 5th. Astro has this similar to mistake to what Mortal had several corners ago. That's going to be a penalty for sure. Surely that's going to be a penalty. Capel comes in. So, maybe you can't do a no stop. We're going to stay with this group. Anton gets a great run, not quite great enough as he slams it into the wall on the outside. He's going to be sniffing Astro's exhaust pipe. He's now going to pull out. He's going to still slightly close up. Astro's going to get the toe from Mortal though, so he's going to pull away. Anton brakes very, very late. Goes very, very late on the brakes. Gets a double overtake at the hairpin. Can he hold on to it? No. Mortal goes back through. So Mortal retakes 5th position. Anton's just going to hold on to 6th at the moment. It's a fantastic double overtake attempt from Anton. That's definitely what I've seen the move of the race so far. Double overtake into the first hairpin. Astro gets his nose up on the inside as we come out of the right-handers. We're going to come up to the double left. Anton very late on the brakes. He's very, very committed and strong on the brakes at the moment. Trusts the brakes on his car very, very well. He's got Astro behind him for company, so he's got to be a little bit careful. All three of these guys have got to be a little bit careful. Anton crashes the inside, doesn't get Mortal to move. I'm just curious, where has Capel's come out on a fresh set and medium, so he's going to go onto the end quite comfortably with those. He might try and even push a little bit too. Excuse me, as Anton a little bit sideways coming out onto the bridge. gets a good exit, who gets a good run. Astro gets quite a good run. Anton does not get a good run. He's lost the toe from Mortal, so he's going to be a little bit weak in the straight line speed department as Anton scrapes the wall on the exit. This is going on Astro straight through. He's going to get a much better run, and if he comes in, he's now going to get the toe from Mortal as well. There it is. Is Anton going to play the game? Is he going to push? He is going to push out Astro. He's going to push Astro a little bit. Now he's going to come out into the braking zone. Astro goes very late on the brakes, nearly goes into the back of Mortal, so Mortal's tiny advantage has now just been completely sunk away in one straight. Slipstream is stronger here though. Let's go a bit further forward. Zico's still all over the back of BX. BX is 3.5 seconds back from Iggy. Looking at these guys' tyres, I doubt you could do a no-stop. The only way you could do a no-stop is if you did the hards, which you'd lose way too much time on. Let's go a bit further forward. What are these guys doing? Iggy's coming in. BX is going to stay out. So is Zico. What's Kep going to do? Kep's going to stay out. We're going to come back as Astro now goes up the inside. As Mortal now finds the grass on the outside, he's going to do what Mood usually does. Anton's going to try and take the double. He does take the double. Both of them two are going to come into the pits. Astro's now going to have to stay out because he's going to have to cross the white line to get in the pits, which is going to cost him too much time. Pyro comes into the pits. Tap is coming up to the final couple of corners. Where does Capel land in all of this? Has the undercut worked? Tap's going to come in. How strong is the undercut here? It's strong enough because he's got momentum, and through he goes. He's going to go up into 6th position. Anton's going to drop down to 7th. Mortal's going to drop down to 8th. Pyro's going to come out in 9th. Ooh, Anton doesn't quite get the car to rotate correctly. Mortal sticks his nose up the inside. There's a little bit of contact. I don't know why Capel's moving, because he's not really being threatened by Slipstream. Mortal swings to the inside. He's going to chuck. No, Anton's very good on the brakes. Very, very strong and powerful on the brakes. Keeps the car in check as well. Both of these two light up the rear tyres. Capel's got 17.5 seconds to P5. Iggy's come out in 4th on a fresh set of medium, so it's going to be a medium for most of these guys. Okay, yeah, he's left. We're going to stay back here just for a little bit. There's a massive power slide there from Mortal. That's going to cost him a few tenths of a second. He's going to claw it back though. Down the next couple of straights, excuse me. So these guys are starting to open up the gap a little bit. Let's go a bit further forward. Astro's on his own at the moment. 5.5 seconds off the back of Iggy. Iggy's 14.5 seconds off the back of BX. So Kep scrapes the barrier. BX could go another couple of laps, but I don't think he wants to. I think he wants to smash out a lap as quickly as possible, try and keep a bit of a gap open so Iggy can't undercut him. Zico doing a fantastic job staying with him at the moment. Let's go back to Iggy. Iggy's pulled in about 3 tenths of a second, excuse me, into that lead. So the undercut is going to look like the favourite strategy here at the moment. It looks like Iggy's going to go out with a much bigger advantage as when he came in. Let's go a bit further back. As Capel is weaving down the straight, losing a little bit of time because that's now going to allow Anton to get into the slipstream very, very shortly. Mortal loses out a bit of time in the braking zone, but he might make it up in the exit. No, he's not going to quite make it up in the exit. Although, to be fair, he might be thanking it a little bit because he's now going to have clean air. Well, I said clean air, now he's clawed it right back down. As Cap comes in, Zico and BX stay out. They're going to go on another lap. So these guys may consider trying the softs. Astro stays out as well. No, excuse me, no he doesn't. It looked like he did for a second. So Cap's going to come out in P5 on the soft tyres. He has got 12 seconds to Iggy to try and make up. Let's find out what Mortal can do. Mortal gets out of mighty turn 1. He's going to try and outbrake Anton going into 2. Anton's going to be up the inside. Mortal's going to be on the outside. There's a little bit of contact as they come through turn 2. Anton nearly turns Mortal. Anton gets a much better run though. He's going to use the slipstream. He's going to try and outbrake Mortal. He will outbrake Mortal. He's mighty on the brakes in this corner. Mortal's going to try and get the switch back. He clips the curb on the inside. That nearly unsettles the car. So Anton still holds 7th at the moment, whilst these guys are going to start fighting. Capel's going to try and open up that gap just a little bit more. Okay, cool, we're still good. Just making sure we're still okay on the string because I had an issue yesterday. Let's go forward a little bit more. So the gap from BX to Iggy is now 11.5 seconds. Excuse me, so that previous lap, 3 seconds was taken out of BX's lead. BX is opening up that gap to Zico just a little bit by little bit by little. We're going to come back here though. We're probably going to stay. I know I'm hanging around this group a little bit, but it's where the most action is at the moment. Lap 8 of 12. Oh, Mortal, don't lose the rear. Although that kind of helped you a little bit because you went out right up the backside of Anton. He's going to open up that corner. He's going to try and prioritise the exit. Going to get a very good run. Although Anton is now just about in the slipstream of the cat driver of Capel ahead of him. What can Mortal do? What's Mortal going to do this time? I don't know, Deco. I think he might consider it, although I was thinking he might try the softs. Let's go a bit further forward. What's this? I don't know. There you go. There's the answer. Zico's coming in too, so Iggy's going to take the lead. We're going to come back here though, because there's a little bit more action going on back here than strategy going on up ahead. So through goes Iggy. Both BX and Zico are being serviced now. So out comes BX, out comes Zico. Both of these guys are on the hard tyres, so Iggy's got about a 9.5 second lead. So both of these two in 3 laps have got to claw in 9.5 seconds and make a pass. Astro comes in as well. So Astro going long might not have worked. These guys are still glued together. So Astro for Team Coca-Cola comes out in 9th. We've got Tappet, bring up the rear. We're going to go through the grid very quickly. Astro in 9th for Coca-Cola. Pyro wiggling around with damage because he's just doing more normal Pyro things in 8th. We got Mortal for 16 in 7th. Capel is now down into 6th. That's being passed by Anton, who probably did him up with the brakes. So let's stay with this group because my grid walk I clearly time in the perfect times. Mortal keeps nudging Capel. Capel makes the corner nicely. Mortal power sliding in the background. Mortal has a little look. He's close enough to look. He's throwing it completely sideways in most of these corners. He's really thrashing this car going around St. Croix at the moment. Right to the left. Now come charging down the hill. Capel is in striking position on Anton. So Mortal doesn't get the exit he's looking for, so this is going to these two are going to open up the gap a little bit. So let's have a little look through the grid. We've got Capel for Team Cat in 6th. We've got Anton for OB in 4th. We've got Kep scraping the wall in 3rd for Team Cat. We have Coca-Cola of Zico in 2nd. 6T of BX in Zico in 3rd. BX for 6T in 2nd, and then nearly a second down, like 9 seconds down the road, is OB's of Iggy. That gap has come down substantially. I just don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think, great as a driver BX is, I just do not think BX is going to be able to do it this time around. There's a tiny little bit of contact there. I mean, literally like a tiniest little bit. So love taps. And the staying with these guys again. Capel goes very, very wide on the steers all the way out to the bad side and the dark side of the circuit. Mortal then understeers a little bit as well. So everyone's understeering at the moment, trying to squeeze out every bit of speed they can possibly squeeze out of these cars. So at the moment it's advantage OB, then 6T, and then Cat. Oh, Capel gets a penultimate corner a little bit wrong. Mortal's going to open up the corner. He's going to potentially look at a strike. He's now going to try and strike as we're now going side by side down the start-finish straight. Mortal's going to hug Capel right into the pit wall. Mortal's now gone up. Yep, Capel's backed out of it. So Capel now down to 7th. Mortal's back up into 6th position. So every position for all 3 of these teams are critical, because you've got a cat driver P4, Zico with a half a second penalty in P3 for Team Coca-Cola, so that could be bad for them. BX is lighting up the timesheet at the moment. He's going to potentially look at setting a very, very fast lap. He's got 7 seconds to take out of Vicky in 2 laps. I'm not sure that's going to be doable. So with OB in 1st and in 2nd, these two, P5 is very critical as Mortal collects the outside wall, collects damage as well, so that's not going to do him any good. Luckily it's a right hand corner now. Power slides it completely off into the grass, and off it goes. Off goes Mortal. So me saying how important these positions are, Mortal doesn't seem to want to comprehend that. Can Pyro capitalise? Mind you, Pyro's got damage as well. Oh, damage is turned to heavy, so you have to pit for damage. So no, Mortal, unless Pyro's just got more damage, because Mortal's just run it. Yep, there he goes. So Pyro's got more damage, doing more Pyro things, I see. Further up ahead, Mortal's in 7th, Capel's in 6th, Anton's in a very, very comfortable 5th. He just has to drive this home now. Kep's in 4th, chasing down Zico. I believe the penalty line's down here somewhere. Oh my god, that penalty's going to be massive. Zico's going to lose out more than 3rd, I think. He's going to lose a lot of time. There goes the penalty. Can Kep accelerate past? Can Kep lunge up the inside? I think Zico might have just pulled out enough of a gap. He's pulled out literally just enough of a gap, so hush my mouth. Zico is still just about going to hold on to 3rd. He's probably one of the luckiest drivers on this track right now. Managed to make that gap work. excuse me, so it's going to be Team OB. That's going to take the advantage out of race 1. Oh, Pyro goes up the inside of Mortal. I just caught the tail end of this. So, Coca-Cola's going to go fighting fists with Team 6T. If Pyro can get past Mortal, this is going to look very, very good for Coca-Cola. 16 might... Oh, Mortal goes off. He finds the grass. He's going to go offline as well. So through goes Pyro. Pyro is now up into 7th position. He's got to hold this for 2 laps now. Never mind, he can quite easily hold it. Can Astro capitalise? Astro can see Mortal struggling, saw Mortal struggling, having a huge tank slap, and Mortal can't keep that car under control at the moment. Not having a great lap at all. There we go, okay. I thought I disconnected for a second there because everything went quiet. Oh dear, oh dear. Capel, no, Capel's had a huge off. So Capel clips and he clipped the wall, excuse me. He's now going to come tumbling down. He's got damage as well. Pyro might be able to capitalise. Can Pyro go on the attack in the final final lap and a bit here in France? Going a bit further back, Astro is close right up to the back of Mortal. Astro is on the softs, Mortal's on the mediums. So I've got 2 fights to look at. We've got 2 groups to look at. Ooh, Pyro, careful. So Capel's going to open up that gap. Pyro had a little bit of a slide. Mortal's opening up that gap just a little bit at the moment. Astro is on the softs, so Astro theoretically should be a bit quicker. And take a drink whilst I can. Pyro managed to reel that gap back into P6. Mortal doesn't have the slipstream either. Astros are all over the back, so Coca-Cola could be looking at making... Never mind. Coca-Cola could be gassing out from the looks of things and bubbling themselves out. So Astros down into 9th. Unless Mortal makes a catastrophic mistake, it's going to probably stay in 9th. So pressure goes again back onto Pyro. Excuse me, as both Pyro and Mortal clip the outside wall. Everyone relying quite heavily on the Armco barriers at the edge. Pyro gets a very tight corner, opens up the steering. Doesn't get as good of an exit as Capel, but it's going to be enough to stay in the tow. Wakey wakey Pyro, that's it. Now, don't go moving too much more. You've done your move, technically 2 now. Oh, Capel goes deep. Capel goes very, very deep. So, Pyro, been redeemed a little bit. Is he going to be able to keep that gap down? He uses all the track and a little bit extra, trying to extract as much time as he can out of it. We're going to check on BX's progress in just a moment, as the top 5 come on to start the final lap. We're going to go have a quick look now, actually. So Iggy is in first. It's a 4-second gap. So BX is doing a fantastic job at the moment. Unless Iggy makes a mistake, I think it's going to be going Iggy's way. Zico in third, doing a great job as well. Opened up a 4-second gap to Kep, who's in 4th. We then got Anton in 5th. A very comfortable 5th now. We then got Capel, excuse me, who's in 6th, being challenged by Pyro, who's in 7th. We're going to jump on board as Pyro slams into the outside wall again. Sends up the inside as there's contact at turn 2. In the wall goes Capel as Pyro spins out. Pyro keeps his foot absolutely planted, so Team Cat now falls down to 8th position. Mortal's in 7th. Mortal with suspension damage compared to bumper and suspension damage. What's Mortal going to do? Mortal ducks back into the slipstream, ducks out of the slipstream. They both break about the same sort of time. Up the inside, and through goes Mortal. Pyro, being the everlasting, gives Mortal a little bit of a tap. Doesn't capitalise, so that could be going to the stewards, I reckon, if there is a stewards in this event. So Mortal has redeemed some points for 6T. Pyro gonna try and redeem P6 back for Coca-Cola, but might not be able to redeem too much, as that contact might result in a steward's report, because that was a day late and $1 short, I think. But again, I only caught the tail end of that, so I'm not going to say too much more about it because I didn't see the full thing. Let's go back further forward. BX has pulled out another second on Iggy, but I'm sorry to say, BX, I don't think it's going to be enough. Iggy doesn't have a penalty either, so he's going to be good down the straight at the moment. Let's go a bit further back. Let's check on these guys. Astro gets through for 8th position. Capel now drops down to 9th. So Capel's final lap's not going well, so it's going to be Coca-Cola 7th and 8th. So they might be able to score some good points here this afternoon / evening. Going further forward, our event organiser Pyro, what can he do as we come onto the back straight for the final time? Mortal goes wide, try and capitalise as much speed as he can. He's going to swing right across to try and break the toe. He's going to sit in the middle of the circuit and also to the inside of the circuit to try and defend the inside as best as he can. Astro's going to be far enough away from Capel, that's not going to matter. Hopefully we can try and get to the end of the straight before Iggy comes across the line. Pyro swings to the outside. Mortal defends the inside. I'm sorry guys, we're going to have to go further forward because Iggy's going to come through the final corner to take a commanding lead, and it's going to take victory here at race 1. BX is going to get second. He got that gap down to 2.8 seconds. Mortal keeps hold of 6th at the moment. Zico comes over the line for 3rd. Kept with a half second penalty. That doesn't matter because he's got 16 seconds back. Is going to come over for P4. So it's going to be advantage OB at the moment with Anton coming over the line for 5th. But I'm going to come back here and watch these guys just for a moment. I know Anton, I'm sorry, but there's a bit of a battle going on back here. Pyro, can he stuff it out the inside on the last corner, or is he going to go for a good run? He's going to try and get a good run. Mortal gets a better run though, which is unfortunate, so Pyro tries his absolute best. Mortal comes over the line for 6th. Pyro's in 7th, Astro's in 8th, Capel's in 9th. And Tap's going to bring up the rear for P10. So it's going to be advantage OB. P1, P5 and P10. It's like a story, beginning, middle, end. And over the line comes Tap for P10. It's a great job, well done to everybody. I'm sorry, but the move for me, the move of the race for me sits with this driver. I mean, straight away. Oh dear. There we go. So fastest lap of the race goes to Team Cat with Kep, who is in P4. BX got close to the fastest lap though, only 2/10 off. The top 4 were the only group to break into the... the top 4 were the only group to go beneath the 3:30. The next fastest lap was, I think, done by Anton. It was done by Anton. And then we got Isaac at the back, who unfortunately did not finish this race. So let's see what's being said at the moment. Won't go very far, lost the car into damage. Okay. I'm gonna let these guys argue it out. So, race 2. So race 2 is at Tokyo Express in the Aston Martin Valkyries. I'm hoping Pyro can get that sorted soon. 2 compounds must be used this time. Ensure you play just... oh dear. Okay. So, we've got the racing softs, mediums, hards, enters and wets available at Tokyo. 2 of the compounds must be used, with 25 laps there and a 5-minute qualifying session. Anyone out on track? People are... oh, someone is out on track. Getting a little bit of practice in. So we've gone from a slight, well, fast in a straight line but understeery car into a car that's got a lot of grip. Sorry, so I'm just gonna have to. So I'm just gonna have a little bit of bite of my the remains of my dinner, because I don't really actually get to finish much of my dinner. So sorry, 2 seconds. Oh, Pyro, I am so tempted to come answer that. So, for those who aren't aware, Pyro is saying he lost his car under damage. We both know what we're doing, we're not stupid. We both have plausible deniability. I'm very tempted to go back to Pyro saying, from we're not stupid to, are you sure? With a little question mark, but I think it's going to be a little bit too cheeky for this moment in time. So let's hope Isaac can have a bit of a better race this time, as he comes charging down the hill, flicks it to the left, nearly loses the rear. I tell you what, this is going to be a bit of a wake-up call to some of these drivers, including myself, because these guys are flying through. Icky with a well-deserved 3-second time penalty for a reason that we will come up with later on. So I'm just having a little look through the grid. Excuse me. Yes, Jack, I saw that. I did see bits. I'm not going to say much because I'm not a steward and it kind of really needs to be pushed into the stewards, I think. I've actually seen the inside of this car in this game. It looks really nice in here. May need to be reprimanded for crimes against league racing. Sorry, I'm just taking the piss out of... Sorry, I'm taking the piss out of Pyro because I can, because I do enjoy taking the piss out of him. So, let's go through tyres. Who's running what? So, Isaac on the softs, Zico's on the softs, Iggy's on the softs, everyone should be on the softs. BX not. So, I'm hoping... Okay, Isaac's found the wall again. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask between chatting. Between talking a little bit of smack and shit because I can and because I want to. So, Isaac finding the wall in positions I don't really think you could find the wall. So, here we go. Okay, we're watching whatever that was. So, Pyro and Capel are going to resolve what's happened after the race, which I think is a wise and good move. We're going to watch absolutely all around Tom go through for a couple of... We're going to see him until the end, I think. Speaking of, there we go. So, H Racing has pointed out something. H Racing has pointed out something very worth pointing out, and I didn't know. So, the Valkyrie, it's probably best that you do not bounce it off the limiter, otherwise you will lose engine braking and you probably will kill someone, which is good to know. So Pyro's going to take us out. Astro's going to be coming out in a second. What's going on back here? This is a complete clusterfuck in the back. Let's stay with this group. Two seconds. Sorry, excuse me. So everyone stopped off at the back. Find a corner, give each other a little bit of space. Team 16 of Mortal and Isaac giving each other a little bit of a boost. Isaac is going to stay on the left. He's going to lift off. So Isaac's lift off to give Mortal a little bit of space. Mortal goes very, very deep, although this might be kind of slightly planned. No, it's not going to be slightly planned at all. Mortal can't get the cart to get going. So Isaac might have a good run down here. It's going to be Team Coca-Cola at the moment, who are going to take a little bit of an advantage of clear and open track. Iggy might be in a good spot. Isaac is now starting to catch up to the back of Iggy. He might be able to benefit from a little bit of a toe, but in this section you don't really want a toe. And then got kept in 5th, although it doesn't really matter too much. Who's getting through nicely? Mortal's backed out. He's going to have to go around again, although he's going to have a completely clear and open track ahead of him though. Look at the active Aero at the back on the wing doing its magic. And let's go a bit further forward to come down the start finish straight. Astro maybe just about in the slipstream of his teammate Pyro. Let's see what this lap time can be produced. 1:34. Iggy goes a bit quicker with a... Cat goes quicker than that. Excuse me, we're just going to wait for everyone. Zico goes even faster than that. So we're going to wait for everyone to go through. So these guys are going to be completely depleted of battery. Zico lights up the rear as he's going to take pole position at the moment, with Kep in 2nd, Iggy's in 3rd, Astro's in 4th, BX is in 5th with Alcidor in 6th, Isaac's in 7th, letting Kep straight through because he's got rear bumper damage now. Pyro's in 8th, Capel's in the pit lane, Tap's in 10th, and Immortal's just about to set a time. Oh, we caught that at a good moment. Zico has a huge moment, slams it into the wall bumper and suspension damage. Let's go a bit further. That's it, the battery's been depleted from Iggy. He's about a second slower this lap. I don't think anyone's going to get a second lap in. Well, a third lap, excuse me, as there's the timer. So it's going to be final laps from everybody. There's going to be no improvement from pretty much anybody because they've all run out of battery. So, what can Mortal do with a little bit of suspension damage and no toe? Everyone's not going to improve, so it's going to be down to Mortal. Where does he slot in? Can he slot in? He's going to slot in 8th. He's going to get ahead of Pyro. He's going to get behind his teammate Isaac, who's in 7th. So it's going to be Zico that holds P1 at the moment. Sorry, I thought Tap's going to come in then. So it's going to be Zico that's going to hold P1. Kep's in P2. Iggy's in P3. Astro's P4. BX is in P5 with Alcidor in 6th. Isaac's in 7th, Mortal's in 8th, Pyro's in 9th. We got a practice launch from Capel. Who's in 10th? Yep, practice launch from Capel, who's in 10th. We got Tap bringing up the rear for 11th at the moment. Yeah, there you go. He's going to come across the line finally. So, here is our grid. Sorry, as Ross was just asking if we have any good overtakes, as Jack has just recommended to Pyro that he puts his overtake on Capello in for overtakes. I somehow see that not working. So it's going to be a slight advantage. It's going to be advantage Coca-Cola going into this round at the moment. Although 6T are in 5th, 7th and 8th, so they might be in a good spot. Excuse me. Oh god. Pyro has just said Pyro good luck. Oh god. I sense death on my hands, and I love it. Also notice, again, how Pyro has got a crown. It's going to be one of the few times we see it, I believe. Although, we have got another season which by just this evening has been announced. Mediums, 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 mediums. Who's... Isaac's on the softs. Pyro's on the hards. Everyone else is on the mediums as we got 5 red lights. Long hold and away we go. Who gets a good launch? Everyone's going to immediately dive into the slipstream. Kep's already going to challenge Zico for P1. Zico's now down into P3. As everyone ahead of him has been using a little bit more battery. As it's going to be absolute chaos going into turn 1. Oh, Kep goes very, very deep. Iggy's going to go up into P1. Here comes BX. BX is going to go up into P2. Can Isaac follow him? This is a little bit... Oh dear, there's RGYG in the background. There's a wall. And you can't really squeeze people up against a solid wall because that doesn't really work. Astro going up the inside of Assador for 5th position. BX goes off into the wall, so he's going to drop down a couple of positions. Luckily, no. Where is he? A little bit of damage for BX. BX is going to drop down into 4th. Kep's going to try and go around the outside of Astor. That's not going to work this time around. So Iggy's going to take us in the lead at the moment. Isaac comes in on his soft tyres. He's going to try and capitalise a little bit, as these cars look incredibly sensitive. Mortal has got a huge amount of damage. Pyro has got a lot of damage. But here comes Capel behind, who's got a little bit of damage as well. Oh, there's a bit of an argument. I suppose that's kind of a little bit of payback. But we will see Tap at the moment in the rear, as there's a lot of damage in the back of the grid. Iggy's pulling out a 1.6 second lead so far. Zico's going to use his overtake to try and catch up. Astro's in 3rd. BX is in 4th at the moment. Asador's in 5th. Kep's in 6th. Isaac's in 7th. Mortal's in 8th. We're going to stay here just for a moment. As Cap goes up the inside, excuse me, of Asador going into turn 1. Makes a braking zone this time. Astro is down into P4. BX is in P3. Start to chase down Zico, who's slowly closing in on Iggy. Let's go a bit further back, as these guys are just flying past like bullets. Kale's gotten through Pyro. Pyro's now down into P10. It's almost completely sideways. So Pyro's opting for the highs. He's going to try and go long into this race. Let's find ourselves a little bit of a battle. Let's see who's close. No one's close, really. Let's stay on board with Isaac, because Isaac's took damage. He's also on the soft tyre, which means he could start to pull in Altidore. Isaac using a good chunk of his battery, but he's in slipstream. He's also closing in incredibly quickly. 220 miles an hour for Altidore, 230 for Isaac in the background. BX gets the fastest lap of the race at the moment at 1:36.6. Here comes Isaac. Isaac's going to swoop around to the outside. He's not going to bother pushing Altidore on. Altidore comes off the overtake button. Can Isaac get the car to stop? No, he can't. He's going to go off the circuit, hit the cones in the background, so through goes Altidore. He's going to say thank you very much. That's an easy overtake. Isaac's going to get a much better run though. Can't decide which way in the circuit he wants to go, so nearly goes into the back of Altidore. Altidore's going to hold 6th at the moment. Isaac temporarily nearly loses the rear twice. Zico now down to P3. BX is up to P2. He's not hanging around too much now. Isaac has lost out a load of time to Altidore. He's going to have to remake all of that time back up again. Now, these guys got to be a little bit careful with their battery use, because I have noticed these guys only recharge battery under braking. So battery usage is going to have to be monitored. Slides like that is going to have to be controlled, because that's not going to help you too much. Cap using a load of his battery, going to get up to try and catch up to the back, excuse me if I can speak English, to the back of Astro all over the back of his teammate at the moment, who's not using any battery. He's not using much battery at all from the looks of things. So Astro doing a fantastic job as a teammate, going to give his teammate Zico a bit of a push. Zico goes very deep and late on the brakes. Might have been helped from the push though. So Zico is going to have almost a full battery again. He's going to go on to the attack. BX is going to have about part of his battery. Iggy's going to have slightly less than half of his battery actually. Sorry, I'm flicking through drivers a little bit quickly. I'm trying to keep an eye on many things. So Isaac's rear right is not looking too healthy. He has got to use both tyres, so he might be trying to do the soft medium or the soft hard strategy. Mortal, his teammate just behind him, doesn't have much battery left actually, so he's going to have to start minding his battery. Now this is going to be an interesting fight. Hush my mouth. Pyro does a Pyro thing again. So Pyro not wanting to entertain us this evening. Isaac drops behind his teammate. It looks like he's got rear damage as well, so maybe he didn't drop behind his teammate rather than crashed in front of his teammate. He's now dropped behind his teammate. So Isaac now down into P8, Mortal into P7. Is Isaac going to play the team game? It'll be good if Isaac plays the team game. Well, I don't think he's going to be able to catch up quite enough. He might catch up in the wrong spot and bump him in the wrong spot. So Isaac does a huge lift, big brake coming into turn 1. There goes the rear of the car. Right on the racing. Oh dear. Oh dearie me. As Pyro makes a slight mistake as well. And Pyro starts in a slightly higher gear, keeps the traction. Isaac on his soft tyres that are very, very well worn through by now. Pyro's struggling to get that car to stop and rotate, so maybe the hard tyres might not have been the best idea for the start of this race. He's already 21 seconds behind Iggy, and we're only on lap 5. As Isaac struggles to keep the rear of that car under his control. It looks like this car is a bit like the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis, where you lose rear grip, that's it, the car is done. kind of looks like that as Isaac struggling to keep the rear of that car in check as round he goes. So down goes Isaac. His tyres are now completely dead. He's also at the back of the grid. Get it going, get it going. He's still wheel spinning in 4th gear. There we go, now he gets traction in 5th gear. So let's go through the grid. Oh dear, who's this? Cap's had a little spin at the hairpin, so down he goes. He's going to go down into P6. We're going to go actually through the grid and do a little bit more of my job this time. So Astro and Zico still glued together in P3 and in P4. BX still in second, about 2.5 seconds back from Iggy. Iggy's got a little bit less battery than BX at the moment. It wouldn't surprise me if some of these guys are listening to the stream to see if I talk about the batteries. Zico gets it all sorts of wrong. Here comes Astro. Is Astro going to try and overtake and capitalise on the momentum? No, Zico just about holds on to 3rd at the moment. Astro gets very close to the back of his teammate. Zico having a little bit of a drifty moment. He does have rear damage. Asador in 5th at the moment. Great job done there. Kep is in 6th. Mortal's in 7th. Capel is in 8th, 5.5 seconds behind him is Pyro, who's in 9th, Taps in 10th, and 35 seconds back is Isaac on the hard, so Isaac's going to the end. Oh, 100% going to the end with that. So, let's see what Isaac can do. Oh, Zico has another moment. He has another moment coming out of the hairpin. Astro holding off at the moment. They've got to be a little bit careful though, because if those two collect each other in a crash, it's going to suit Asador very nicely, who is about 4 seconds back at the moment. Astro opens, or it's either Zico's pushing on a little bit or Astro's backed off a little bit to open up that gap through the twisty bit. Astro nearly has a moment. Zico does have a slidey moment, so it might be time to come off those tyres. If you're going to have moments like that, you're losing time to BX ahead, who's trying to manage that gap as best as you can to Iggy, who's doing really good on his tyres actually. Out of everyone who's not stopped yet, which is 90%, 99% of the grid, apart from Tap's tyres, Iggy's tyres are the second best on the mediums. Capel's aren't too bad. We're going to go a bit further forward. Mortal now in the slipstream of Kep. Oh, Mortal hits the wall though, that's not going to help him. That gap's going to open back up, although Kep's tyres aren't looking that great. He's doing on board for a bit. Don't really see how quick these cars are going through this section of the track. Mortal, even with damage, is very rapidly catching up to the back of Kep. Kep struggling with, I believe, the rear of that car because he's got suspension damage. Let's see what happens when he puts a bit of weight on it. Mortal demonstrates what happens if you slightly over push it. Kep doing a fantastic job using some of his overtake to open up the gap. So Zico and Astro still going. Zico's tyre is nearly dead. He's probably going to have to come in at the end of this lap to make sure he doesn't lose out too much time. Iggy's just set the fastest lap of the race, 1:36 dead. So Iggy using a lot of his battery, but maintaining a lead at the moment. Zico backs off to let his teammate through, so Astro now goes up into P3, maybe to make sure he doesn't cost Team Coke. Yep, just maybe to make sure that he doesn't cost Team Coca-Cola too much time and points. Oh, Zico having a massive slide now, got rear suspension and bumper damage. Zico doing his absolute best, using the overtaking. I think he might be coming into pit, so he's going to be trying his absolute hardest to do a solid in lap. Although that's not going to help him. So round goes Zico at the top of the hill. Through goes Assador. Through goes Kep. Kep's having a moment of his own as well. Capel comes through. Zico's still trying to turn around. Finally he comes through. Mortal's not having a great couple of laps either. In fact, there he nearly goes again. Astro comes in. So Astro's the only driver of the top 3 to pits. Lap 10, 15 to go. Kep gives Assador a huge almighty shove. Assador does get the car to stop as well, so great job done there. Astro comes out, Zico comes in to do his stop, Mortal comes in for his. Isaac's struggling to get the car to rotate. Through goes Pyro, so Pyro's going to go up into P8 at the moment. His tyres aren't looking too bad. Further up ahead we got Tap in 7th. Be nice and smooth, nice and progressive. Actually, yeah, let's stay on board with Pyro for a bit. That was close. Well held Pyro, very well held. Tap, not quite so well held. Pyro comes down the hill, goes up into the inside, and through goes Pyro. That, Pyro, is how you do an overtake. So Tap drops down in position. Iggy comes in. Let's see what Astro can do. So we got a yellow flag as Kep goes around. So Kep, who was in 3rd or 4th, now goes around. Here comes Astro, who's on the fresh set of tyres, can push a little bit. He can afford to push. He's going to take a free slipstream though. Kep on the back. Yep, Kep is on the battery. So Astro's going to quite comfortably and happily take the free slipstream. Iggy comes in and out, stays in 1st. Is BX going to come out and stay in 1st? I don't think so, because Astro's going at an almighty rate of knots. 230 miles an hour for Astro. 180, excuse me, for BX. So through goes Astro. Excuse me, Astro has got Kep to thank for, as he goes steaming past BX like he was stood still. So Team Coca-Cola in a very good spot at the moment. Assador comes out in 4th, very good spot for OB as well, very powerful spot. 5th is Pyro, who dispatched Tap a lap ago. Although Tap's going quite long and deep into this race, so he might be trying to do a different strategy towards the end. I think some of these drivers are looking at a 2-stop. Because everyone started in the mediums, and if let's follow BX. Where's is my thingy? BX getting the final couple of corners a little bit wrong. cost him a little bit of time. Must use 2 compounds. Okay, so some of these drivers looking at doing a 2-stop. Medium, potentially soft. It's probably going to be the quickest alternative. BX opting not to use as much overtake, whereas Astro is starting to use his overtake. Iggy's got a 10-second gap at the moment, very much in control of this race at the moment. Pyro looking at maybe a 1-stop, going probably the medium, a hard medium, excuse me. There's Zico. Zico's in 8th at the moment. Immortal just behind in 9th. Kepper's in 10th with Isaac bringing up the rear for 11th at the moment. We're going to stay here. We're going to follow Capel for a bit. Let's go at this point of view. Starting to chase down Tap. He's in the slipstream at the moment. Tap uses a little bit of the battery. Yeah, a little bit of the battery to get a little bit more of a gap. But Capello's got much fresher tyres, able to send it a little bit more in the corners. It gets very close to that wall on the right, scrapes the wall on the left. Loses a little bit of time to Tap, but that doesn't matter. He can make it up through this section here. Tap's going to be a little bit more careful as he loses the rear a little bit. So great exit there by Capel. Tap gets an even better one. He's going to use a lot more of his battery, and also he's a lot lighter at the moment, which is probably the reason why he's holding on for so long. He's going to use a ton of his battery. He's also going to stay out, so he's going to do one more lap. Pyro comes in on lap 13. Here comes Capel. Tap stops using his battery. Through both Capel just stayed with him. So Tap now goes down to 6. Ooh, he gets a bit deep though. He does manage to square it off. He does get the car to rotate. Zico is now the next man behind Tap. Let's go a bit further forward. BX down in P3 at the moment. Starting to chase down Astro, excuse me, who's in P2, who bear in mind a few laps ago went sailing past. And 10 seconds ahead of them is Iggy. Iggy's on a couple of cooldown laps, I'd say, recharging up his battery. Ready to hit it again, or even just in case he needs it. He's got an 8-second gap, which is very healthy at this point in the race. The X gets a fantastic exit, doesn't need to use his battery to catch up. He's peeling in the 10th at the moment. Astro's now starting to use the battery. The X saving a little bit of the battery, saving his battery at the moment for an attack later on. BX makes the fastest lap of the race at the moment at 36.0. Let's come back a little bit further. Tap comes in to hit the pits. He has got absolutely zero fuel left. Isaac's going to go sailing past and sailing through. So Isaac, I think, is doing 2-stop as well, because he does not have enough fuel to go to the end. Pyro has more than enough fuel to go to the end, and he's on the mediums, and his stand's got damage. So he's going to leave Tap in his rear view mirrors, quite firmly in his rear view mirrors as well, so he comes out onto the hard tyres to go to the end. Astro in P2. BX using a little bit of his battery to get a good exit out of the corner. Gets a good run down. Now Astro's going to use the overtake. It's going to be a cat and mouse game of battery life. They've both got about the same amount of battery life, actually. So, let's follow BX for a lap. Let's see what he can do this lap. I'm going to follow in the same onboard as we did Capel. Doesn't need to lift quite as much through the corners compared to the last time we did a follow lap with BX. Completely committed to these left-handers. Down one gear, little bit of a brake. Minimum speed through there is 160 miles an hour. That's the top end of most GT3 cars that we drive. Completely flat everywhere else. Very patient with the throttle. Gets a great exit, uses a little bit of battery. Astro loses out a little bit through the overpass on this particular lap. Now Zico half a second back from Capel to battle for P5. Very much game on at the moment as we've got 10 laps to go. So I don't break people's eardrums. Zico very much in the slipstream now, using a little bit of the battery to catch back up. Capel using a lot of his battery to stay ahead, and Zico now using the rest of his. Here he comes at 141, I just spotted on the speedo. Through goes Zico, hard on the anchors now, very, very hard on the anchors. Can they both get the car to stop? They do get the car to stop. Zico gets a little bit of a worse second part of that corner. Capel gets better, but stays in a higher gear to keep the traction. So through goes Zico up into P5. So it's advantage Coca-Cola at the moment. They're P2 and P5. OB on the other hand have a higher advantage with P1 and P4. Let's go a little bit further back. Isaac is in P9. Great job done by Isaac at the moment. It's got 14.2 seconds to Pyro, who's on the mediums, and then Tap's bringing up the rear on the hards at the moment. Now Isaac is due to make another stop, maybe this lap, maybe next lap. I'm probably suspecting next lap. We'll see what Isaac decides. Now what's the cat and mouse game going on up ahead? That gap has dropped down by a second. That previous lap at 35.9 for BX's Iggy set at 35.5. It's just the fastest lap of the race, and a 36.5 for Astro. So there's about half a second, 0.6 of a second difference between these two going further up ahead. Iggy's just showing off now. Plenty of fuel for the and tyre to the end and battery ends just to set the fastest lap of the race. If there was a Max Verstappen for this evening, it's this one right here. I'm a little bit more interested in what's going on back here though, because BX has lost a heap of time. He's lost nearly 0.7 of a second in this mid section alone. There you go, 0.7 of a second. So all that work BX has just done, it's going to be remade back up again, but Astro's tyres aren't looking, they're not too bad. They're about 40-ish%. BX has got slightly better tyres. Both of them use battery in the same place. It's going to be a slight, it's about even actually. Isaac comes out of the pit lane. He did stop. He's now on the mediums. He's 3.6 seconds behind Tap, who's in 10th on the hards. Pyro's 13.5 seconds ahead down the road from Tap, so I'm not sure if either of these two are going to be able to catch up to the back of Pyro. Astro got less battery than BX at the moment. Is BX going to look at an attack through the midsection? We'll keep an eye out on that. Asador in P4 at the moment. Great job done by Asador. Zico in P has a little bit of a moment. I think he might clip the wall. Is in P5. Great considering his moment on the overpass earlier. Capeo's in 6th. Mortal's in 7th. Starting to chase down Capeo for P6. Kep's in 8th. So Team Cat not going to score that many points this race as the looks of it at the moment, but we've still got a few laps left. Pyro's in 9th after having done a completely different strategy. Started on the hards, nearly losing the rear, then going to the mediums, trying to do the one stop. The one stop's not really worked out at the moment for him. Excuse me. Astro 36.8 versus a 36.3, so BX now in the hunt. Great exit coming out of turn 1 of the hairpin. Astro's going to start feeling a little bit of pressure now. It's going to be the battle of who's got the bigger battery. Astro's also got less fuel, so he's going to come in imminently as well. See it from a passenger eyes point of view. See how committed BX is as we're going through this midsection, and Astro's just as committed. Struggling a little bit with his tyres. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. Astro slow on the entry over the overpass. BX sniffing up the inside. BX lights up the rear tyres as we come charging down the hill. BX wanting to get this overtake done and dusted quite early. So through goes BX. BX is now up to P2, but Astro's going to use a little bit of his battery. Is he going to dive into the pits? He is going to pull into the pits. He has to pull into the pits. He's also out of fuel. So BX probably has enough to go to the end. Is he going to start trying to chase down Iggy? Iggy's got... Well, actually no. Hush my mouth. They're both going to have to stop anyway because they both started on the mediums. They went on to the mediums. Astor comes in as well. Where's this land Zico? Is Zico going to come in? Zico is going to come in. Capeo's going to stay out, so he's going to jump Astor and Zico at the moment. Yeah, I think he's going to have to stop next lap. Anyway, just behind is Mortal, who is in the slipstream of Capeo. He's going to have to stop again, because I believe he started on the mediums. I think everyone's going to have to stop again, apart from Isaac and Pyro. These guys have to be so careful on the throttle, not to light up the rear tyres too much. So Altazor comes out on the softs. Zico comes out on the softs as well. Pyro 44 seconds back from Zico. That's an immense amount. We're going to stay here for a moment. Let's follow Mortal. There's a massive sliding twitch over. He's having to be a little bit more careful. Going through the midsection, Iggy comes in with 1% of fuel. Does BX follow? He is going to follow. He's got a lot more fuel as well. So this might be in. This is going to bring these two a lot closer together. So it's going to be a fight to the end for these two. It's going to be on to the softs for the top two. Mortal loses out a load of time. nearly slides and loses the rear. Look at that gap is over the more than halved, but Iggy has got a lot of battery to play with. He's come out on the softs. BX come out on the softs as well. Astro, who pitted a lap earlier, who used the overspeed last time to get past Pyro, is not going to be able to get the same effect done this lap. He's going to be 2 seconds back as everyone else files into the pits. Astator goes through. Zico comes through as well, so he's in P5, so great job done by Zico on a bit of a recovery drive for Team Coca-Cola. Mortal comes out on the softs ahead of Capel. Kep comes out in 9th. Pyro going back into the pits again, so is this going to allow Isaac to get through? Will allow Isaac to get through. We're a bit more interested in what's going on further up ahead. BX is on a battery recharge mission. Iggy's almost got a full battery, so he's going to go for a very quick lap. He's going to put that timing screen with his name firmly planted at the top of it. Just BX firing it down straight, so is Astro, excuse me. What can Capel do? Capel's got a bit more battery over Mortal. Let's see what he can do. As both of these drivers use a bit of the battery coming down the hill to get a big boost. Capel pulls to the inside. Mortal can't fight it. Mortal's not going to bother fighting it. He uses a tiny little bit of battery to get up the hill, keep himself in contact. Mortal swings to the outside. Capel gets the inside. Who can get the car stopped the best? It's going to be Capel gets the car stopped the best. Mortal goes a bit wide, but this might allow him a straighter exit. No, Capel's going to get a much better exit than Mortal. So Mortal's now down into P4, or P7, excuse me. I'm looking at a tenth of a second. Little flash of the lights trying to distract Capel, not going to work. That is a trick that both of these drivers know and understand how to avoid. Capel has a bit of a moment himself. Got to go a bit further forward. What's the gap like? Iggy uses pretty much his whole battery to set the timing laps straight. Over the line he comes. It's not going to be quick enough to take the fastest lap of the race. Fastest lap of the race is going to belong to Zico. I think BX is going to be trying to go for a little bit more battery life to try and get a better lap and try and close up. Mortal now closing up a little bit as we come charging down the hill. I'm going to go through the rest of the grid quick. Kep in 8th at the moment. Isaac's in 9th. Pyro's on the softs in 10th at the moment, losing out time to Isaac. If Isaac can stay where he is, hold on for another couple of laps, excuse me, as he saves it very nicely, he'd hold on to a very good position, excuse me, for Team 16. But it's Iggy and Team OB who's going to dominate here. So far, with 2 laps to go, I can't see Iggy making a mistake at this point. BX is doing his absolute best to try and catch up to the back of Iggy, but I think Iggy's just pulled out a bit too much of a gap. I see people together. I see people together. Mortal re-attack. Nope, not quite re-attacking. Tries to re-attack. Loses out a little bit too much time through the mid-sector. They're going a bit further forward. Zico trying to catch up to the back of Asador. Zico's not got that much battery. Asador's got a little bit more battery. So the gap up ahead's not really changing all that much. Gap further back here, it's going to be advantage Capello. At the moment, Capello's got a lot more battery compared to Mortal, and further back from that, Cap's got no battery. Isaac still holding a 5.5 second gap to Pyro. Pyro struggling with the battery power he's got at the moment. Tap's bringing up the rear, but he's got to be a little bit careful, because if he's not watching his lap times, he might be lapped shortly. I doubt it though. That gap for P4 opening and closing with each coming corner. Go a little bit further back. These guys are opening up the gap a little bit. It's going to be these two are the closest on track. So it's going to be Coca-Cola versus OB. Zico closes that gap, but then it opens back up because the corners are coming and he loses a little bit too much grip. Who can harvest the most amount of energy? Coming through a couple of corners as well into the final lap. Where is Iggy? Iggy's down there. Okay, so we've got a few corners to go. Zico uses a good amount of energy trying to close that gap, get into the slipstream. Astor used just as much energy. Sorry, I know I'm flicking a lot. I'm trying to see who's using energy when. Zico got no battery left. Astor has a little bit of battery. He's got a little bit more to give. So we hit hard on the brakes, hard on the ankles. Astor gets it squared off nicely. Zico's a lot tighter. This might help him on the exit. Not going to do too much as he has a massive snap of oversteer, so that's P5 sealed for Zico unless Astor has a huge moment throughout this coming lap. I don't think he will, but we're going to go a bit further forward to Iggy, who has been in command. There's the first mistake actually from Iggy on the final lap, but it doesn't matter. He's got 4 seconds back to BX. He's been in absolute command of this race since lap 1. Fantastic start, chaotic start as well, but truly fantastic start by Iggy. He's going to come down the hill, following, funny enough, his teammate who's going to start the final lap. He's going to finish his final lap. Iggy's going to take victory here at race 2. BX is going to get second. Astro's going to get third. So well done for the top 3. Big points for Team OB and for 6T. Great points for Astro as well for Coca-Cola, but it's going to be Asador who's going to hold it for Team OB, who's going to get P1 and P4, so it's going to be a huge number of points for OB team. It's P4 for Asador, P5 for Zico. Great recovery drive considering an earlier mistake. Capello is going to get P6 for Team Cap, not Team Cat's race, to be brutally honest with you. Mortal's going to get P7. Cap's going to get P8. Isaac did a completely different strategy to everybody else. Going to come over the bridge for the final time. Only lost out 2 seconds. Well, maybe 1.5 seconds total time to Pyro, but it doesn't matter. He's got tons of time, a lot of gap. Comes through the tunnel for the last time. Isaac's going to get P9 for Team 6T. Pyro trying something different. Nearly made it work. Not quite able to make it work. Runs out of fuel on the line, coming down the hill. He's going to get P10. We're going to follow Tap for the final lap. For his final lap, for the final time. Comes down the hill. Comes over the checkered flag for P11. So there you have it, everybody. There are the standings. going to be kept, who's going to take the fastest lap of the race, or the 1:33.5. It's going to be a big advantage to Team OB. Probably followed by Coca-Cola, then Team 6T, I should imagine, or it's going to be very close between them two. So there you have it. Now unfortunately I won't be able to stream the final one. I have been called into work, so it will not be me in the final, which is a shame because I've pretty much watched almost all of them. Well, yeah, so all I can say is well done everyone. Thank you very much for joining me, watching. Thank you very much for driving and turning and signing up. I hope everyone has had fun, and best of luck to everyone who goes into the final. So with that, take care everyone, and we'll see you all soon.